Okay, we're
Hi,
live.
everybody.
All right. Are you hosting, Heather?
I think we're good.
Yep.
Awesome. How is everybody?
Hi.
Hello, hello. Good evening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Excited
Oh,
to be here.
like a
I
radio
love these
voice.
because these are actually energizing. Heather and I were talking about that earlier, how the calls, like, oh, I have another call, but these types of calls are super fun. Well, podcasts.
Mm.
Yeah, same here. It's funny. The past couple days, I've been on like big calls,
hmm
and and the conversation sometimes it becomes. There we go. What's up,
Good
I
Jamie?
can't see
We got
to
Jamie
see
back over here.
you.
hearing no sound.
Yeah, the conversations have been interesting, but like this is another level. I think whenever
Mhm.
we go on these. So yeah, I was really looking forward to today.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And we had our first office hours today for OC for AI, so we can share that later about like what happened and what it was like. But that was really fun too. But just a different. It was just a different vibe, but it was really fun to see what other people are thinking and doing. And you know, again, it's such a wide gamut. Like from I'm in chat, what do I do? Versus, I can't get it to talk to me versus like, oh, I'm doing this, and this. And then I'm like, what was that called, Will, where like they mapped out everything? You remember Caleb said it was like oh, it's a technical term, but where like they drew out the topics with all these
Oh,
like
the a flow chart, a mind map.
yes.
My
I was
map.
like was
Yeah,
like,
that was through
what?
Notebook LM.
So anyway,
Awesome.
well, I'm glad to see you all.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
Always love talking AI.
So let's just get right into it. Has anyone had any big AI wins this week?
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
what is it,
Go
Tracy?
ahead.
Okay, so we had our well, maybe not everybody knows, but we had our PACE call on Sunday about connections and relationships and like I've been in a lot of masterminds and they don't always focus on that. Like you're paying for the education, you're paying for the cheat code and the fast path and whatever. But in this world, in the community and owners club, like you're really paying for the relationships, and that's kind of what he focused on. Um, but like I was like, oh my gosh, what if I used AI to do that? So I did that today. I built my GPT that will take everything. And I just, the way I did it today was I used Otter on my pod call, recorded everybody, went into Otter, named everybody, downloaded it, put it into my GPT that I created and had trained. And then it created the perfect like output of how I could export all of that when I connect it. But I was like, let's just get messy and start. Like, will this work? Will it do it? And I was like, yeah, buddy. It came out like Claude was like, that's perfect. I'm like, thanks, Claude. So, but like, again, it doesn't have to be N8N and all these things. But what if I could just start?
Yeah.
Like utilizing, and it gave all these suggestions for tags and follow up and who needs what. And it was like the perfect call because that's what pod, we're talking about what we need and what we're doing. And it was like the perfect test case. And you know what? It was like that, like a minute. And I was like, holy crap, it worked. So modern technology.
That is fun.
That's a great concept because I know Will talked about in an earlier episode having transcripts from calls hooked up to automation. So you could add that into like a profile for somebody and be able to call AI and say, hey, I have this thing. Who needs that? Or I need this thing. Who has that? Like, and do
Has
those days.
it has that feature in the GPT to recommend a match make
Awesome.
and follow up. So we'll see if it works. But like, the more you use it, the better it gets. So, and somebody told me today that GPTs now you can pick the level, like your model. Not everybody has it yet, but now you can't. Like it used to be, you couldn't use like O3 or whatever. Now you can. Like not me yet. I'm not one of the lucky ones, but that's okay.
Yeah.
April and I actually just hosted a call 3 hours ago, and we didn't really market it that much, but we did have like quite a few people show up. It it was more than I thought, and then people were excited. But we focused a lot on what could you do around personal brand within ChatGPT, and we focused a lot on the projects in there, which has a lot of the same functionality as a custom GPT, but it's not shareable, as we found out.
Yeah. It's not shareable, but it remembers better, right? So it kind of has some attributes that are more helpful for the particular use case, but it lives in your chat GPT. But what's really, really cool about it is the way that, it'll hone it in and you can reference the specific, styles or whatever that you've tuned in. And in the instructions, you can give it clear instructions and it actually follows the instructions a bit better than it does anywhere else in the other elements of ChatGPT. So way better than a GPT for that use case. And then of course, way better than just trying to go back to the chat that you were in. So it was really fun. And of course, people were like, I didn't know you could do that. And so it's always fun to share stuff where people are like, "Oh, yeah, yeah." And so the other thing that Heather shared in that Q&A was the AI video gen. So generating video with AI. And yeah, go ahead. You did that in Manus using VO3.
Yeah, so they just launched VO3 like within the last 2 weeks within Manus, and I have a ton of Manus credits right now. So I was like, oh, well, I don't want to go and sign up for a new system. Let me just use one that I already have. And this is probably a common problem that everyone has of like, new tech came out. Do I go sign up for something new, or do I see if what I'm currently using has already implemented it? And so that was a case of where Manus implemented that, and I hadn't had a chance to try it out yet. So I gave it a really simple prompt just as like a proof of concept for this meeting, and it turned out really cool. It had great special effects. I did it as like a promo video on the workshop that April and I have coming up in August, and barely any instructions, but it really tied in together with what we were talking about because we went from personal branding, and then somebody said, hey, come up with a YouTube script. And so it came up with a YouTube script, but we could really fine tune that to say, hey, this is an AI generated video. Come up with all the scenes for this, and then send it into VO3, and then you have your video for the YouTube.
Yeah, and something fun that I learned about design earlier in the week was to use the prompt when designing for like web design or designing for videos or anything, artistic or creative, is to use the prompt like use design language atop whatever designer would use, but tune that in a little bit more and just be descript. Like use things like if you're, I don't know, like have it be like a moody setting or a swanky setting or, like all of these things that artists would use to describe scenes, and like have it write prompts that are more artistic in the language and the vocabulary that they choose. And that did make a difference. I hardly had any time to play with much this week, but in the little cracks of time, like sometimes I just can't help myself and I have to check out a little bit of it. And I do think it improved the output.
Yeah, one thing that I started doing is so I grab and ask for a prompt for ChatGPT, for example. Then I grab that prompt and then give it to Gemini, and I'm like, all right, ChatGPT tried. Can you do any better than this? And then that prompt I take it into Claude, and then that prompt I take it in again to Grok, and then I just like do like a daisy chain, I guess, of just improvements from every perspective of every LLM out there, and then I save that as like a GPT. I save that as a gem in Google and Gemini, and start using it and see like what the difference between them the action is. So that's something I started testing just for creating like small like assistants pretty much for my team and the agency and the ad side. So I'm really excited to see what happens the next couple weeks.
I used to do when I was programming my Shopify cart or like my order screen. I was started in chat and then it would kind of get like clunked up. So then I moved to Claude and said, I was trying this in chat, but it kept failing. And I was like, and then it would get so far and then I would go back. And it's like it kind of knows like you're competing. I don't know if it really does, but I was like, chat tried, but he keeps messing up. Can you help me? Sure, Tracy. And then cut, paste. So I'm I'm learning things, but I don't really know what I'm doing. But it's fun.
Hey, you're making progress. So
I
you're
really am.
using it and you're learning a lot. And I think it's fun to use the models that way and test. I think that's a great way to toggle between them, because then you can see, then you're able to discern which one is the best model, maybe a go-to for whatever particular use case.
Yeah.
But they're fun. They're always improving.
I know. What do you all use project? Like, so I use projects mostly for my, like for Life is Sweet, for my other businesses. And I also have a board of directors. Like I did deep research on like 20 Paces, one of them, but they're in there. And so I talked to them all in there,
Mhm.
but I didn't like, so I'm assuming that's kind of what you were doing with like a personal brand or like a business or something like that in the project.
We did
And
a
like
brand voice
training.
we did a brand voice for a person in particular. So we picked one of the participants, asked what she did, and what we did was we just showed them how to create the project and to title it, so like what its job is, right? That's how we typically title our agents anyway, so we can easily like loop them in.
Mhm.
But title it what its job is, and then I just talk to the prompt, and then I just have it like create a little something something to kind of calibrate it for what I'm looking for. And then I say, hey, write me like a prompt or instructions that will enable this project to execute on whatever its job is, right? Whatever we've defined its job is. And then we just showed them how to put the instructions in, and then just showed them how to attach some knowledge in there. Because you can remove and you can replace knowledge, but it's best to replace the knowledge and then prompt. Like, forget doing this, and then every time I ask XYZ, use the new file labeled XYZ. And the other thing is your file naming convention is very important, because it just makes it easier for the project to sort through the knowledge and find it.
Mm.
So label your files like you would naturally like ask Chat to do something for you.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about projects over GPTs is it does keep your stuff segmented. So
Mhm.
like I had all this branding stuff, and I do like weird stuff for my brands. So after I built Workflow Waffles, it was like including a little waffle emoji in all of my Facebook posts. I'm like, no, this is not the appropriate time for waffles.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing that I don't like on GPT for the projects is that you can't add, in projects inside ChatGPT, so you can't add GPTs inside projects.
Right.
Which, oh man, it sucks, because I sometimes I have this conversation with the GPTs that I make, that I want to put them into one of my projects, and it doesn't allow me to.
Well,
Speaking of,
sorry.
I found something new that's coming to ChatGPT. It's not available to the Plus plans yet, but I was watching
Ooh,
a
okay.
YouTube video. It's available on the business plans. Makes me want to upgrade, but you can connect different sources now. So, like, for me in particular, like, if I could connect it to my project management system and like all, because it has all the emails for my clients and stuff, and like all of the tasks and where the tasks are at, like it could connect into that, and I could be able to ask ChatGPT questions about the status of a project, and it would just make my life so easy. It made me excited.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I would do, Will, if you have, I'm sure you probably already thought of this, is if I see something if I have a chat string that I really love, or a GPT that I really love, but I've hit a roadblock that I need to do something in a project, I just go to that GPT and I say, I would like to extract as much as I can out of how this GPT is functioning. Write me a prompt or write me instructions that I can then add as, PDF it, or put it in a Google Doc, PDF it, and attach it as GPT knowledge.
Mhm.
And then you add it, and then it'll refer to the GPT. The only thing is it's not dynamic. So it's not referencing any new stuff you've done. You'd have to constantly, replace that GPT knowledge based on how far it's evolved with you working in between both. But you might be able to leverage at least a percentage of it instead of 0% that way.
Right. No, excellent trick there and tip. Appreciate that.
I do find that in like my new chat streams, it's extracting from the projects. Like it's keeping it there, right? But if I start a new chat on a topic or whatever, it's pulling from everywhere else like if I'm asking something about me or something, it's pulling the information from everywhere. So it's not like it's this isolated thing. Although if I act in it, it kind of keeps it that, but it still is pulling in, which is fascinating. Again, we shared on the call today, like, you know, after like a year and a half, it used to be like what was in this chat wouldn't be in this chat. Like it wouldn't see it, but now it's just pulling everything and it's weaving it through and reminding, like once I asked my board of directors, like, I feel like a loser. I don't know what I'm doing. And they were like, no, Tracy, look, and like pulled from all these different places, all these things I had been doing. And I was like, thanks, Chad. Like, it's like my little friend. So anyway, but that was really cool. And I like this whole idea of like the print, and then this other mastermind that I'm in, that he's really big on like, you pull it all, you put it in a doc, you make it a PDF, and you can put it in, but then also because it loses track and it just doubled. And then he taught today or the other day about refresh, right? I updated your instructions, please refresh and whatever. And it kind of pulled it as opposed to like having to start over. But that was really interesting too. But anyway.
Yeah, it did get quiet.
Sorry.
We were just checking the streaming, like where it was going live. And it is going live on our personal ones, but we're trying to, you know, in the moment, you know, this is live podcasting here. We needed this like live stream to all the things, specifically to the AI hotline.
Yeah, it's not currently doing that.
But I was able to share it with, it popped up on live streaming on mine. So yeah, it's live streaming somewhere. Good. But yeah, so Jamie, you're awfully quiet. What's going on over there?
I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to get it to go live. I was down half the day with all the allergies and everything like that, and that was kind of crazy for how used to get to being able to be online and be in every software and be able to do everything, and then all of a sudden it just drops and doesn't work, and it's like, what do you do?
Yep.
But I mean, my OpenAI shut down, the Google shut down, High Level shut down.
Yeah.
And it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, what was that about? Do we know?
I haven't figured out what happened.
It was Google Cloud, and apparently Cloudflare runs on top of Google Cloud, because they're like, yeah, the service that we run on, our engineers are looking into it, but we can't really do anything. It's like, well, half the internet runs on Cloudflare.
Yeah, it was everybody. It was Microsoft Azure. It was Google Cloud. It was Amazon. It was basically every major, pretty much everybody that owns the internet.
All the big dogs. Yes.
Not AWS. I checked them because that's what the other half of the internet runs on.
It did say it was out.
They say
like on the outage list, AWS was out.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, I didn't experience outage on anything I have hosted on there. So maybe it was just server specific, like location specific, because I know they have different distribution of things.
I was in Cloudflare as it was starting, and I'm trying to refresh a page, and I'm trying to get it to verify, and it won't verify, and then all of a sudden it went away, and it's like, wait, what just happened? So
yeah. Well, I was in the SAS account, and I was like, what is going on? Because it was just like a black and white page with a few lines of code, and I was like, what is going on? I was like, I hope all of these sub accounts did not get deleted. But
in ours, they said that a whole bunch of people's billing wasn't working in High Level. In my other one, they said everyone said their billing wasn't working, but also Calendly wasn't working for me.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Teams wasn't working.
I scheduled. The thing is, I scheduled an email reminder to like 400 people, and it was supposed to go out at 3 p.m., which would be an hour before the call, and it went out at 5 p.m., which was after the call. So it's like, yeah, this is great.
Oh, that explains why Benjamin's was after.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, I was like, Benjamin, why are you late today? Because Benjamin had his one-on-one, and Benjamin wasn't in my other call. Anyway, how funny. I don't know. Well, that's the thing. Technology is amazing when it works. And then when it doesn't, you want to kill people. Like, it's just not, even just little things. Like, we had a thing at the candy store. This is not AI related, but like we got a big ice cream delivery. And they're like, The next day, they're like, oh, all the ice cream's melted. I'm like, I just got like $500 worth of ice cream. But like, they must have gotten the cord wet. It like popped the circuit. The circuits didn't look like it. Nobody paid attention. It took 24 hours and then everything was soup. And I was like, crapola. But like, when does that ever happen? Like,
Right.
and so we tested again. Now, so we're like, okay, let's put on our detective hats. Okay, check the extension cord. Is it plugged in? Is it this? Did it break? Da, 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 da. And it was a stupid circuit breaker. But you couldn't tell, right? I said, flip them all off and turn them all back on. They're like, it's fixed. I'm like, right? Modern technology. It's like, okay. So thankfully, I mean, it's working. I didn't have to buy a new freezer, but it's like those little, even just a little thing, like a plug. You're like, damn it. So I don't know. The more and more dependent we are on this stuff, right? Like my sister's car wouldn't start, and it was the battery in her key. She thought it was a starter, right? Like
I thought it was the battery in my key.
right. I mean, who would have thought? And so
Yeah.
it's crazy. So
I don't know that ever's gone. Well, and today during the outage, surprisingly enough, I was able to open a Relay bank account because I didn't have time to go to Chase, and we settle on that triplex tomorrow. And I was like, crap, I need a bank account real quick. And so luckily, I mean, they were able to open a bank account in like 3 hours as long as I had all my docs and verified my ID. But they said it would take 2 to 3 days, and I'm like, it's probably going to take 6 days. Like, what am I going to do? Just give me a check and wait and open an account. But that ended up going through. So the banking stuff seemed to be okay, at least in my experience today. But
that's crazy.
yeah, it is crazy. But
Does anybody play with the VO3 quality?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay for it? Because I think it was like, oh, $249 or something. I was like, no.
it's half
No.
off for the first 3 months. It's half
Is it?
off. Yeah.
This is why I did Manus.
Yeah, that's why she did Manus with her infinite credits that she has. She has like to infinity and beyond credits.
No, just like 80,000 they're never going to use.
That's a lot.
All right, guys, we're officially
The
live on YouTube.
VO3.
We're live?
Live on YouTube. Hello,
Yeah,
guys.
sorry about that, people.
No
Have
worries.
technical difficulties over here, but
It's okay.
we're live.
But
on
you
YouTube.
got it? Awesome. I'll stop playing with it then.
The show must go on.
Did you get all 5 or just the 1?
Oh, somebody commented. Do you see we have chat that's live?
Oh, let's go. I see James over here. He joined,
Hi, James.
Joined
Look at
right
us
on
being
our
busy.
Riverside. Right on the
Yeah.
stream.
I don't know what else is out there, but I was like, ooh, I'm clicking some. See, we're learning stuff there's Heather.
Oh yeah, relay. Oh yeah, Chase is like a 2-hour appointment. Oh, Heather knows. Heather knows. Her and I were at Chase together, fixing our bank account.
Well, they had
They're
tech
nearly
issues.
2 hours. What?
They had tech issues, and
Mhm.
we sat there in the office, had great conversations, but they were just like constantly interrupting, like, "Hey, I need your driver's license. I need your
Again.
driver's license again."
My goodness.
Oh, you got the link from Owners Club. Okay, cool. Cool.
Mm-mm. I know the Pace GPT, everybody. Oh, they did it in those. Gotcha. The Pace GPT one was a big topic on our call earlier. They were like, and then I was scared to share it because I was like, well, you're in the call, but maybe you're not allowed. I don't want to be in trouble. So
Did Owners Club get the Delphi account?
they did. But again, you just email is so unreliable. It doesn't always hit your inbox. You don't know. And if you didn't know to be looking for Delphi, like that's a random one. So anyway, so that was one of the things we talked about. Will showed us how to connect your email I was like fascinated because like I don't really use Gemini. And he's like, if you go here and you click apps and you just can connect Gmail, it'll tell you all your emails. And I was like, what?
Now everybody's going to want Will to show that.
He did that, and then he showed us all how to build a gem, he did a really good job with that because it's not. Again, some people were like, I can't get it to talk to me, and I'm like, go on YouTube. Like, we're not going to spend the whole hour talking about that. But then Will was very nice and was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then he just shared the screen and did it. And then he showed me that gem, and I was like, this was worth waiting for. Now I got to figure out how to go in there and connect it.
Yeah.
Because what happens, there's so many features until, like Heather was just showing us on Discord, like how many features there are that you could just get lost for days trying to find the one dang thing that you need to be on or off. And it's like you need a YouTube, like even YouTube, like going live and making sure things work. Like you need a YouTube video to show you how to find the tool and the little toggle in YouTube to make it work. Like it's too much. So
Yeah, you sometimes get lost in the sauce, but you just gotta like learn one recipe, learn it really well, and then move on.
keep
to the next.
going. Well, and don't give up. That's the thing.
Yes.
Right.
Don't
Exactly.
give up. Just keep going. Right.
Yeah. I've done things that I've been like, it's just too aspirational to start with, right? It's just too ambitious, and
That's how we roll.
What? Huh?
That's how we roll.
I know. We do roll like that, but I probably won't turn my computer, but I bought a 4x6 whiteboard from Jamie, and it's on the wall.
Is it full?
It's almost full.
It's almost full.
I got another one if you need it.
I don't know where I'd put it. I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4. There could be 5 desks in here.
I have 2 right here, top and bottom. Boop, boop. And then all my little Post-its. That's all my
But I
to-dos.
put another one. Yeah, I might actually, because this is the room that's above my garage. It's like a bonus room, but the way they did the roof is it looks like an attic a little bit, but like a high roof attic, but it's not an attic. It's, you know, my master bedroom's right behind me, but I don't know if I couldn't write on the ceiling. It's not that low.
Her office is literally Narnia. Like you have to go through her closet.
Closet? Oh, fun.
And I was like, Heather, just, you know, where I have to take you, you have to walk through my bedroom, then you have to walk through my closet, and then there's a door, and then there's this room.
It could be like a speakeasy.
Yeah, exactly. It could. She's like, oh, you're for real. We are going through your closet. I was like, yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
But it's so quiet because the only thing below me is the garage.
Mm.
And it's not noisy down there. And so it's a nice quiet spot. But anyway, we have lots of builds going on. Like, I do feel better that it's not just in Slack, that it's also on the whiteboard. Like, that makes me feel better. So, and it helps.
I started whiteboarding everything on my tablet. That way I always have it with me, because I always have a problem that I'm not at my desk, or I've had multiple desks. Then like I go to see something, it's like, oh crap, it's on the other whiteboard.
That is a good point. That is a good point. This desk is a whiteboard too. But I don't know. I feel like when it's like closed up and like the screensaver is on or whatever, I feel like it's not in sight. Like this has no screensaver. That's what I like about it. No screensavers.
Well, but I mean, like I had, I created an assistant to like help me just brain dump when I'm thinking about all the things I have to do. And then it does the PDF because I like the paper.
I
Like,
love the PDFs it creates in chat.
And so, and it made all these little icons and like
Yes.
emojis, and then I've just been crossing stuff off. But like I miss this from like, and so I get that, and then I get this, and then I plot it on the calendar. Again, a lot of extra steps. I'm sure at some point it's going to be easier. I'm trying to maintain, like, stay with the calendar. Like, I'm not doing it unless it's on there. But like, I know paper, but like, I'm old school. Like,
Isn't
like
that
it.
crazy? Isn't that crazy? That like just to reiterate on what Teresa just said, it will get easier. Tell me how long did it used to take you before chat to actually get through all of that you just mentioned?
Honestly, pre-menopause, I would just remember everything and do it. Sorry, that's
Wow.
TMI for everybody, but that's real thing. Like you all of a sudden you're like, why am I even in this room? What did I had like 5 hours of calls, and I was journaling, and I was like, who did I even talk to today? I know I talked to 5 people, an hour each, but I don't remember. So like,
I must have menopause too, because that happens to me all the time.
but at least I can go back in and like, and you know what I do? You know how we did the 5 birds, like 1 stone? I use the block and then I put all my things that I need to do in that block in there. And then I go put like a little cute check mark emoji next to it. Like, and I save it for each, because some of them are repetitive things every week. But anyway, just trying to like, I commute 40 minutes. In Charlotte, there's a lot of traffic. And so between like, I have like a prayer journal on chat, like that it's tracking and like giving me scriptures as whatever. But then I also have like my assistant where like, these are things I got to do today. Please don't let me forget. And then I'm like, oh, I'm designing this thing, but I'm using the time, right? Mm-hmm. Until we get automated cars where I can have 2 hands, at least I can talk.
You don't have that?
No, not yet.
Well, to the PDF thing, it reminded me that earlier in the week, I have the paid version of Perplexity. And so there's just a couple more features in that. So I had to do a little research thing, and to PDF it in Perplexity is also awesome too. And then the Perplexity Labs. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to play around with that, but for slide decks, because I tried slide decks in Manus when I tried to convert our workshop workbook into some slides, because we're like, maybe we'll throw slides up. And it did a really crappy job, like a really crappy job. It was like text was running off the slide. It was all over the place. And I was like, maybe it was my prompt. Maybe it was me dragging in the workbook. And it was so terrible. And after a few prompts, I couldn't get it to work. We scrapped it. And Heather and I were like, well, we don't need slides anyway. Like, who needs slides? Just put the cover of the book up there and it was fine. But apparently Manus is really, really good at building these slide decks now. And that was just 2 weeks ago when it was like super crap, because it came out, because the functionality has only been out for a little while, but it was super, super crappy. And maybe they got a lot of complaints and made it better, because it's working really well now. Apparently it's not producing a deck that you might use, but it's producing a deck that you'd swipe a slide or 2 from and maybe add it to your library, depending on the audience, shuffle it in there where it belongs. But it's good at taking all that data that it that you put in there and putting it in.
I really liked Gamma. Oh, I mean, like, because here's the thing, I'm not corporate. I don't really create presentations. Like, you don't normally need them in the candy store. So like, but I was like, I had built what they asked me to for Dealmaker. And then I was like, how can I make a presentation? And Gamma came up. I was like, let's try it. And it created this cute little like Warren Buffett cartoon, because Warren was in my thing. And like, but they came out great. I mean, I found it a little clunky to edit, but like and you could go like, stick to what I said, like medium or like real simple. It was really a cool tool, and it was free.
Yeah.
So I really liked it.
Yeah, I haven't really messed with Gamma too much. Have any of you?
Yeah, I have done.
Uses it.
Yeah, I've done presentations for my team and also for client like updates. I've also used it a lot. Same thing with presentations for like Tracy said, for investments and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good deck.
Mm-hmm.
And
like even websites,
but it was nice.
Even websites, you can do a real quick presentation style website, so you have the visual that you can show to somebody and do it in 30 seconds. Doesn't work very functionally, but at least it's the quick idea that they can see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not creating as many slide decks as I used to. I used to have to create a ton, and they were always sales pitch decks. But lately, what I'm doing now is, and it was always in like a consulting type of dynamic. And what I'm doing now is when I create a pitch deck, it's only if I'm raising capital. And that's pretty much the only time that I'm using a deck these days, or if I use it to facilitate like training at my W2. Like, I'll put a slide deck up there, but I put almost nothing on them because nobody wants to read slides. Nobody wants slides read to them. Just use them as a cue and a visual stimulant to communicate the concept through a visual. That's all I use them for. But I read this. Was I read it or I heard it? Did I talk to you guys already about like the boardroom stuff, like how boardrooms are changing their slide decks?
Oh no, I
I
don't think
just
so.
people I talk to about that. So what and because what people have started doing like in an executive setting, and also because we're private equity backed and we're always like acquiring company, we're always doing like all this stuff, buying and selling. And so what tends to happen now is they've found that sending boardroom like decks ahead of time, like a week ahead of time, letting people process them that week, come up with their questions, give them a little bit to be like, this doesn't make sense, explain this, or that's a great idea. Hash out all the kind of like nonsense that happens when you first show an audience a deck. Because then when you're in front of each other in a boardroom setting, it just maximizes the time and you actually get stuff done and you can make decisions versus all the little small stuff like I don't understand this, I don't understand that. So it's a meeting prep. So you send it out as like a meeting prep, get all the BS out of the way, and then you come in, people have had an opportunity to digest the information and then they can make these big decisions a lot more quickly. So it's proven to be super, super productive. And I'm like, duh, like like of course that makes so much sense. But
I think Amazon does that. I think in Rocket Fuel they talked about that too.
did they
About
I didn't
having
know.
it preemptive, right?
Yes.
Like this idea of like before you sit down, this is what the meeting is going to be about. This is all the things we're going to talk about. This is, and that's part of what you have to do to be able to attend the meeting. Otherwise, they'll just say we're going to reschedule because it's not worth it. We're not going to waste our time, which is very efficient, I would imagine.
Yeah, and whenever I have someone new on my calendar, so if I'm doing a new intake with someone, say they want to hire someone, I put in the agenda, like, I'm going to be asking you, what are the most exciting elements about this role? Like, what do you say to get somebody excited about joining your team? Like, what is it? And I'll ask them, just think about the things that are really important, because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten into a call and they're like, that's a good question. I didn't think about that. That's a good question. I didn't think about that. And so it's like, well, I need you to just think about it a little bit so I can be in a better position to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that probably goes along with like all kinds of.
Mm-hmm. They say with sales too, like in some of the sales training, they talk about like you make sure everybody that's going to make the decision is on the call. And you had like, did you read through what we sent over? And if they didn't, or like what's involved or whatever, and if they didn't, they're like, well, let's reschedule because like it's just not going to work, right? You've got to do these pieces before we can meet. And so,
yeah.
I
So
love
we'll
that.
have agents to do pre-meeting prep.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Well, and to test them, I'm going to build, I'm building, I think I told you guys this last week, but I'm building like a Life is Sweet GPT. I'm going to try it with the GPT before I go bot crazy, but because bots are more complicated, but like the GPT, I'm just going to put all my training stuff in there, put all some data, and then, and like some foundational things and let them talk to it at each store. So, and then the goal of the bot or the GPT is to prompt them, like, when they get there, they're like, hi, it's Madison, and I'm, here in McAnaville. And be like, great, welcome. I hope it's a great day. And then it will like, after a little while, they'll be checking off what they're doing or like, finish this. And then it'll ask them random, like for a picture to kind of keep them on their toes. But also like, and again, is it really going to know the picture? But if it knows that it might ask, they might do it. And then the other piece was, or like it's order day.
I hope they're not listening.
No, I'm not listening. And but then it also like if somebody comes in and is like, oh, do they make this anymore? It will have the answer, right? Instead of them taking a note and then emailing me and then I have to call them back and all that stuff. So I was like, but I mean, all of that data, it's going to learn like all that candy knowledge that's in my brain, right? If I could just put it in there. But again, it like just keep them on task. Like, oh, did you remember to fill the bags? Like even just something as simple as that to kind of like keep them moving along. And then give them like, I'm not always as good at the accolades of like, good job. But maybe it will be like, good job, Madison, you're doing great. And I don't have to be the nice guy. It can just do it for me. So
yeah.
I don't know. We should call her Candy or something. I don't know. We'll think of a name.
Candy's cute.
Candy is cute.
Anyway,
Nice. I love that idea. I should do that with my team too, but I just don't know how to go about it.
I'm just gonna start.
Just-
I'm just gonna start, like, and figure it out. Like, and what's the worst that's gonna happen, right? They'll ask silly questions, and I think, because, correct me, you guys are more tech. Like, if they have a tablet in each store and they have ChatGPT, and I share the GPT with each one, it's still going to be learning because it's still my account in each store. So I think collectively it will be learning, although it will be very unique to that location. I stumped you all.
I don't know how good the learning is because I feel like you still have to update the configuration and you still have to update some of the knowledge. I feel like the GPTs don't remember as well.
As the regular.
No. And that's the reason you would do projects, but you
Yeah.
can't share a project. You'd
Could
have
be.
to, if it's the same knowledge, say you have 5 stores, you might want to assign, but you might want to, but then you'd need to have different GPT. You'd have to have a GPT account for each store because you can't share the project.
Yeah, would one of the things, and James is asking a question, would it be a 3-way chat with everyone, you, them, and AI?
No, it would
No,
be
it would be
them.
specifically them with
Yeah.
the AI, right?
Right. They would be interacting with it just like if I had gone in. Anybody could interact with it. I like that they're going to say they got there, they're on drawer A, and I'm going to do this, this, and this. And I just, like, they're just checking in. It's just keeping them on task as opposed to like a checklist. Because the checklist, you know what they do? They don't understand a checklist. The checklist is supposed to give you joy when you mark it down, not pretend you did everything, come in and go check, 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 check. Like that, no, that's not what the checklist is for. The checklist is when you did it and to make sure you did it. That's the checklist. Anyway, the choice.
We can build them a bot so the bot talks back and forth to them at the end of the day and ask them all the questions, so they got to answer it verbally.
That's what I built for the cash drawer. But again, that was kind of a pain in the neck, like the hosting and stuff. So I figured, well, we'll start and at least get them. They'll be excited it's on a tablet because they're not supposed to be on their phones. So I figured, well, at least it's a start, right? And then if it's on my iPhone, that's at the store, they could utilize that and take pictures or whatever. And maybe it'll give them some fun things to do, like, or whatever. I don't know. I'm going to play with it because you know what? If we can automate and make it gamify. Heather was sharing on the last call about, like, you get points. Like, people were like, what does that mean? I got like level 2. It's like, well, you participated. That's like, you, good job. And they were like, well, what? How high does it go? They were fascinated. It was funny. So, but I'm like, just to gamify it and make it a little bit more engaging as opposed, because they're young and they're so used to technology and being immediate gratification as opposed to a checklist where I'm old school.
Well, what you could do, I just had an idea when you were talking, is if you did decide to give projects, what you could do is as you load it with the knowledge and as it's like learning and stuff, you could like reverse it a little bit and just say, hey, you have all this great knowledge, Candy, or whatever you're calling the thing. Just be like, I would love to share about, what you've learned and what you think is funny or your current insights on, Facebook or whatever, and have it create a little like persona or a marketing campaign. And just be like, write me 5 Instagram posts or 5 Facebook posts or whatever. And it could be, you could use that, like, I guess maybe towards the branding of Candy, even though that's not her main like directive, you could extract that out. And I think it would still do a really good job.
Well, because I usually task the staff with, like, because if they're not busy, I'm like, can you make some posts on TikTok or whatever, right? Just because I don't want to. So, I mean, it could sporadic. And that's like the thing of the randomization of like, hey, can you go check the bathroom? But also, hey, you want to take some things for TikTok or like whatever, just keeping it rotating through. Like once a week, can you ask it to like whatever, like the training of that and then tracking it. I don't know, it'd be interesting at least to see.
Yeah.
How it works and if it learns and whether projects versus just a regular chat window? Because again, now that it learns and it remembers, it may not even need to be in a container. You know what I mean? It could be today's date. They start a new chat and they start like, hi, it's Tracy. I just got here. And then it could be pulling from, you know, how it all remembers and stuff. So I don't know. I'm going to play with it. And because again, this is the whole idea, is to make it fun for them and to make sure everything gets done and track it. I don't even care necessarily if it's like putting it somewhere and we're logging it, because it will remember.
What you can do with that is you can create an actual assistant in the back end of OpenAI under the platform.
Yep.
And it will remember the conversations with that particular person as long as it's the same conversation. So say you use maybe Telegram or Slack with like all your employees in each of the stores. As long as they're the main, their account is the one talking to it, it will remember their conversations. And then you can always trigger that assistant to like ask, hey, you know, where are you? Or like trigger depending on the time. I think you can build it that way. The hard part will be to know, like, you know, the time and when they're supposed to like actually like do the things that you're asking it to do. But test it out that way. It's it's definitely doable in terms of like having that same conversation with one of your employees.
Well, and it's just the interesting piece, right? Is like, how do you use, like some of the questions in office hours was like, well, how do you use it? What are you using it for, right? People were starting to like, what are they going to do? Like content or whatever. But, you know, it's just about making your life easier and thinking like, how could I utilize some technology to get my time back? Excuse me, or remember for me. That's all that it is.
Yeah. I'm currently using that, and I'm trying to revolutionize SOPs a little bit because SOPs are freaking boring. So I'm trying to throw all of the SOPs into a GPT and give it to my team so that they, instead of asking Heather questions because they ask Heather way too many questions, they can just ask this and they can be the first line of defense.
Isn't that what our Pace AI is? Pace GPT? It's pretty much that. It's copying yourself so that other people that need your help can actually like use your knowledge in that regard. Yeah.
Well, that's my hope with the training that's going to do, right? You think people will feel like they have access to Pace because they have it?
Yeah, it's basically him, but he's already a bot, so like you can't convince me otherwise. So it's just him where you have more access to him.
True enough.
Yeah, most definitely. So what are some of the assistants that you guys are using currently? Not that you're building or creating, but like what are assistants that you guys have created for yourselves right now?
Anybody want to start?
I'm still working on that thing that you mentioned a few weeks ago, Phil. I'm transferring all of my Fathom transcripts into an Airtable and have like being able to use those more, because not only could you do social media posts, but I could be training my bot with this content. Like there's so much that could be pulled out of these calls.
Yeah, that is true. So purposing what we do every day, which is literally like either office hours, calls with our teams, one-on-ones, morning huddles, whatever you want to call them. At the end of the day, you go over through so much information that why not use it to repurpose it? Very true.
Well, I'm hiring a fractional COO just because of the fundraise, and I want to make sure it's like really solid as opposed to Tracy's jerry-rigged systems, whatever. And again, they work, but I want to just make sure it's really solid, especially because people are investing. And so, but like some of the proposals, they were from anywhere from like 25 grand to like 175 grand. Like, and I was like, whoa. But how much of it could be assistant, like AI, right? It could just be following me along and, oh, today I'm doing this, and pulling it all together, as opposed to a person building it out. And not to minimize what their expertise is, but I'm like, how much of it is really just about tracking and systematizing what I'm already doing, right? Or improving it, like taking whatever my checklist is, or whatever my opening procedure is, or whatever my inventory system is that I'm creating. Like taking that and improving it, right? Solidifying it as an SOP and then improving it. And that's all that, I mean, that's part of their proposal. That's what they're going to be doing. But AI can do it so much more efficiently.
Well, you don't know what you don't know. So
Correct.
this person have, or the CEOs, whoever you're speaking to, they for sure have been doing that for years. So I'm sure
They're
they can
amazing.
expedite that for you, even if you were to use AI, because they already have systems in place.
Yeah.
So even though AI could do a lot, it all depends on who's prompting it to do what it needs to do, right?
It's true.
Especially if you have that knowledge.
It's true.
The one I'm using, Jamie, did you want to go? I'll go last. I've been doing a lot of talking. Jamie, go ahead.
I've been doing a lot this week with the VO3, taking some videos and taking still pictures and converting them into videos and adding music and everything to them.
How is that working for you? Like, what? Give us an example of a picture.
She sent a robot face of me. Maybe that's one of them.
I did.
You made all of them like robots.
I think he was working on our thumbnail or something, and he's like, "Here." It was like half robot, half me.
I did it for all of us. We all switched to
did.
video. I'm trying to pull something up. I don't know where I saved it.
Is it easy to use, Jamie? Or is it, you know, sometimes you get into some tools and it's like really clunky to figure out what to do. Is it pretty straightforward?
It was extremely easy to use until I tried making a change, and then I got a little bit lost. The other thing I found is I had a problem with the video, the sound. So after I made the video with everything I was trying to do, then I switched over and I did it with the, what did I use? Adobe Publisher, whatever I used.
Oh, I feel like Adobe's so complicated.
It's extremely complicated, and it's also like the best thing out there to use on so many things.
I know, but it's complicated.
And I have a video, I don't have sound. But if I share this,
just drop a dope beat, and that's all you need. The whole instrumental.
Where do I find my?
Have you found in your work so far with VO3, is there any sort of glitches or limitations?
I had problems with sound, so that was one thing. And then, no, like it's actually worked out really well.
Colin's
like
it. Yeah.
It's like the fifth or sixth one I've tried. Of course, you're talking to the same one. I can't freaking open one screen.
No worries. You probably have 875 tabs in 5 browsers with 875 tabs in each one, like me. Because I'm like, I can't close that. I got to do that.
Have you all heard of Hula? It looks like this. Can I see? Can you see that? It's like Hula.
I haven't heard of it.
They do these weird little things where they have like little men. It does stickers and stuff, but it has I did it. I paid for it because I was like, if that works, it's worth it. But it was like you take a picture, like Jamie's talking about, and then they put these little maybe little people on it, like working on it. Like it just was an AI generated. All right, I'm watching. Sorry.
Okay.
So can we see this? I don't know if you'll be able to hear it or not. So this was a still picture. This is the picture right here.
Okay.
Is that Julie?
Yes.
I love it.
That is so fun.
That was a picture and it made it dance?
And literally I typed in show Julie in the yellow dancing in the rain in Dubai, and it made the first video.
Oh,
And then I went in and added the clip of the flyer, which was a still flyer, and it then brought that in to bring it back.
Yay. So
Wow.
cute.
Very cool.
That's really cool.
Oh, now I'm going to have to go. No, I'm not going to go to bed till 1 a.m.
Right. I couldn't get the music to play on top of it. And the worst part is the music came from a YouTube video. So then I had to download other software to extract the sound and then bring it over. And then the only way I got it to go in was through Adobe.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you should use Suno, suno.com.
That might have been easier, but you were
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
sleeping.
What does Suno do?
I think
What
it
does
was a
Suno
while
do?
ago.
Yeah, I shared this a bit ago. Here, I can.
Cool.
I can,
It's so cool.
Suno.
Yeah, so-
I'm writing it down. These are
I
all my
love the
Suno.com.
interface.
So you can actually make music using AI to whatever style of music that you want.
Oh, I made a
So-
candy song. I did that.
So
Maybe
there
I
you
don't
go.
think it was
So-
Suno though. I think it was something else.
yeah, so in here, let me see. Let me just log in. Let me just create an account here. I don't remember what did I create it with last time, but yeah. So in here, pretty much you can just like come in here and just describe the type of music.
Mhm.
They also have a pretty good explore library where you
Love
like get to just
library.
like pick.
So
So
a lot of
so
this is actually built in VO3.
Really?
it's built. It's
So
built
in
in
VO3, I can give it text and tell it what kind of music I want.
Yep.
And it'll do that, but they want it the particular song playing.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna start upselling you to do all these different things, but here in Suno, I mean, you can see what's trending. So like, I don't know what this means. House Italo Disco Acid like I don't even know what that means, but
The
hopefully
Dutch sound.
we don't get in trouble with YouTube here. But
Don't
okay,
play
yeah,
more than
that's-
7
that's
seconds. I
fast.
think we have 7 seconds before we get a copyright violation.
Okay, perfect. Well, all of these should not take us to that because we're demonstrating the app. So hopefully that's not the case.
I don't think
Um,
it will. I think it'll be
But
fine.
for example, a lot of these, yeah, you just match kind of like different sounds. And the cool thing is that they added this new, I guess, in the upgrade where you can actually split the different like vocals, drums, and things like that, and create music directly from here. So a lot of the things that we're using for our ads is precisely using Suno to create like little background music between our clips.
I just really like the site. Like, I think it's a cool.
That
like,
is cool.
visually, it's cool. Like, it's a cool interface. Like I like the design.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
different. It's different. Definitely,
Mhm.
I like it a lot too.
Makes it fun to be in there, and I think it's kind of cool because it's kind of like a record,
Mhm.
but then it's the songs on the side.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So my thing is still my I would say that I'm probably using the most is my competitive intel one. It's not emailing me. All the rest of it's working, but it's not emailing me. So but I'm still able to get the data that I need. But basically what it's doing is scraping competitors, just kind of news or articles that they put out, or if people are a speaker at a conference, kind of the subject, really and then, looking at the jobs that they have posted, because then that suggests where they're making investments or where they might be growing, or, and I was thinking about adding the element of like the layoff reports and stuff to glean some additional insights. And so, I don't know, that's the one I would say that's active. But on LinkedIn, you can pay, I think it's like 75 grand a year for Talent Insights. And so our company just has one seat for Talent Insights. Everybody has a recruiter seat, but just one seat for Talent Insights. And they give you some really cool stuff, but it's even stuff beyond that. Because we can tell where people are moving. We can tell like whatever you do on LinkedIn, they have an insight for it. And it's really like useful data, just super expensive. And so I'm trying to get the most of what I need from that same thing outside of it. So
Very cool.
it's my use case that you could probably use for any competitor situation. Like if you're an AI company, or if you're, I don't know, maybe a services company that has a lot of other competitors that are on the medium, like small to medium size. Like, what are they, what kind of ads are they running? How many jobs do they have open? Or I don't know. for my use case for what I do, it's super valuable.
I mean, that used to be like you could go to Facebook ads library and you could like look up, as long as you knew the name and you knew they were running, and you could tell, you could kind of deduce from it, and probably AI would do it much better now, but years ago it would be like, how long has this ad been running? If it's been running for years, it's working, right? So, and it, because they're not spending that kind of money for no reason, right? And so, but you can go and find and figure out like what they're doing, what's working, or if it's all new, right? And how quickly it turns off and what not to do. Kind of, it's kind of like funnel hacking, this idea of like, it's just there for you to be able to utilize and see what's working and see what people are spending money on, which I don't think any of the other platforms do that, but Facebook does.
Yeah. So Will, I don't know. Sorry, were you going to say something, Heather?
Yep.
Oh, somebody was going to say something. So Will, because I think we might have talked about, sometimes all these conversations run together, all the the conversations we have about AI. Did we talk about on this podcast Facebook and the Facebook ads and the elimination? Like Mark Zuckerberg is claiming to like basically eliminate creatives for Facebook ads. Did we talk
We haven't
about that
talked about it. We haven't
on
talked
this
about
one?
it in depth, but we did. I did mention it. That's something that he was alluding to. I don't see that. I mean, technically, if he does that, he's gonna wipe out pretty much everybody that like pays him right now, which is majority agencies. Because majority of people, sure, it's gonna be easy, but like you don't really. There needs to be some strategy behind it. So I don't see that happening unless everybody that he hires is going to be educating people on how to actually use it and run it. Um, but yeah, that's what he mentioned, and I immediately text my partner. I'm like, we have to figure this out before we lose pretty much ability to like be in business because of this, right? Because that's what we
Mhm.
use. We use Facebook. We use Facebook for our
That's what I
ads.
thought. Yeah.
So
Same.
so yeah, I mean, there's still a level of understanding like the industry that you're doing ads for that I don't think the AI will know how to describe that. So like a lot of business owners, at least e-commerce that like we handle, they don't really know even like how to promote themselves. So that's why they hire us, because we can actually create campaigns. We can actually like, speak the language of their customers. As you will think that they know who their customer base is, but like one thing is doing it on Facebook, another thing is doing it on TikTok, another different thing is in YouTube and X. So there's different, touch points that a user needs. So um, a lot of these e-com brands, they prefer to delegate that, especially once you get to a certain level, um, because to build that in-house, I mean, you gotta essentially build a media company within your business, and that's expensive. Trial and error, see who kind of like matches. Some businesses do, some others don't.
Yeah, because I mean, and I think that kind of carries over to the point where we're still in the very, very early stages. It feels like it's been around for a while, but there's so many advancements that it kind of recalibrates everybody, and you're still in the best position if you're the expert in your industry and you learn how to use AI, right? Like that's the general sentiment I think across almost every single industry is, yeah, you're really good, but learn how to use AI to position yourself or to keep yourself relevant in your position, because you can magnify your reach with your expertise using AI. And so, and that's just what I hear when you say that, right? Like you're still going to need the
Mhm.
creative that, because the creative comes in for, the design element or the taste, like having a good taste or having a good, something that people would be receptive to. And I feel like AI sometimes struggles with tasteful things or things that are visually pleasing enough.
Well, it can't see unless you instruct it to see right now
Mhm.
today.
Mhm.
And it doesn't know what the user who's looking or that is prompting it likes unless you tell it what you like. So because of that, like doing things that are beyond what you tell it, is not capable of doing that. I mean, it doesn't have its own. That's why it's not what do you call it, general intelligence, like
Mhm.
AGI. Not yet. I mean, once you get to that, that's when I start worrying. you
Yeah.
know
Mhm.
but even at that point, when it comes to the actual conversation of like what can it do. Well, it can only enhance me because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I need to ask it in order for it to do it. So that's why, Tracy, to the point earlier about the COO, like you don't know what you don't know. So like if you're the
Correct.
expert in your material, the longer that you try and test and do things with the AI, the better you're gonna become, and then you're gonna completely leave your competition in the dust. Why? Because it's just aggregation at the end of the day, right? It's the compound effect of you using new technologies until to get to the point where like now it's part of the DNA of the business.
Well,
Mhm.
and it's different also between a COO who's been around forever but hasn't adapted to new technology
Right.
versus somebody who has been doing this and has been implementing, right? Automate, eliminate, or delegate, like to make everything work, to make everything solid, to make everything perform really tight and save money, like the warehousing system, right? All of those things. But now with AI, like they're replacing themselves. And they also, the thing is, they don't have to do all the things. They just know how, they have to know it's possible between all the other people they know, right? Like we talked about, we'll go back to our original, which is it's who you know and what they know and their database, right? And so she's a COO and or he's and they've been for 30, 40 years. They know a lot of people. They know a lot of things that have gone on. They've seen a lot of things. And so even in just a little candy store, which is like not a big high-tech thing, there's probably a ton of ways to really make that efficient and pay for itself uh, in a way that I would never understand. I have some thoughts, but that's all it is. And I would be trial and erroring all over the place, figuring it out. And it's not my happy place. I don't want to, you know? So as for the Facebook ads, well, like, as I've been running them for, I don't know, like 5 years just for the candy store. I'm not running for anybody else. But like, we keep pivoting, but like, I have even more so, I just keep doubling down on Facebook. I tell it very little. I create the thing. I mean, I'm giving away free candy. This is not rocket science, but it gets so efficient at delivering and getting people to click. It is like I was checking the other day and I don't spend a lot of money. And I was getting half a cent clicks. And I was like, holy mackerel. Like again, but because it knows like if it's working, it just doubles down on it. And that's like that
Mhm.
AI that we don't really touch. It's that whole
Right.
algorithm that's learning. And then my friend started doing ads for Amazon, which I've never played with. Like I have an account, but I haven't synced it. It's very complicated to like with food, every ingredient, every whatever. So I'm playing with this idea of that, not just ecom, but like Amazon and TikTok. But anyway, she's running ads and like it's very simple. It's like you buy it and it's like, oh, the suggested is or whatever. But she said the system in comparison to Facebook was so easy to set up and it was fascinating. And I was like, Facebook's kind of, unless you know what, it's kind of messy in there. It's very
Yeah.
clunky in there.
Yeah, Facebook is I have a love hate relationship with it.
So do
But
I.
to your point, yeah, you can get a lot of people to click on an ad, especially if it's free stuff. The only thing about free stuff is that you get what are we call the lurkers. They just
Freebies,
want to the
freeple.
freebies. So
Yeah.
you still get good clicks, you still get good cost per lead,
Mhm.
but do they really turn into customers? It will depend all on your backend. Why? Because Facebook at the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
a tool, a platform where like people are going either to be
Yeah.
entertained or to be in community, right? That's kind of like their main purpose
Mhm.
there. So you're interrupting their pattern,
Yeah.
and you either have to really like give them a super extreme reason why they should continue to click because you're hitting in all the psychological
Right.
like issues or psychographic issues that they have in order for them to go forward,
Mhm.
or you're simply just another scroll pretty much. So
Yeah.
Amazon on the other hand, people go there to shop.
They
So when
do.
you present them an ad that meets their criteria, then they're obviously going to buy. They're always going to
They're
you're
already
more
in
than likely
buying
going
mode.
to.
How
Exactly.
nice. Right.
Yep. Yeah, but the algorithms are getting crazy right now. In the spaces that I we work with in the ecom side, is really it's funny. You have to be extremely vague in the wording because we deal with hemp.
Right.
So extremely vague in the wording, but at the same time, the messaging has to get across so that
Mm.
they actually go and click. And we have to stop them from continue to scroll. So it's triple, quadruple, like like a science that we do here on my ads agency.
Mhm. So
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
interesting.
Thank you for that question, April.
Yeah.
Even Facebook out here trying to put me out of business. Nah, nah, nah. Not Zuckerberg, not on my watch.
No, no, no.
Mm.
Maybe challenge him to a MMA match or something. Wasn't he
He'll beat
gonna
me
like
up for
wrestle
sure.
someone?
Yeah,
it was supposed to
Elon.
us-
Was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it was Elon.
I thought it was one of those kooky brothers. No, it was Elon. Who is fighting one of those? What are those guys? There's two guys with the energy drink.
Oh, Jake Paul.
Oh yes. Oh,
That was with Mike Tyson.
oh, was it? Listen, I'm totally removed. I don't know. I thought it was those two for some reason. I'm all mixed
Well,
up.
because they were challenging each other to like jujitsu or who knows. But I mean, they were gonna duke it out
Oh, my
MMA style. Too
Yeah.
funny. Too funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's fascinating. Like we were talking about robots, and about like this is the next piece, right? Is like we're gonna all have robots and they're gonna do our laundry and they're gonna do our roofs and they're gonna sell my candy as soon as I can replace them, right? Like
I need some to pull the weeds in my landscape.
right? I mean, well, like, and somebody was talking about that this week, and I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about that robots, like one person will get it and they'll share it with their neighbors or whatever, right? Because it doesn't take a break, and it's like, and I'm like, gosh, how far away are we from that? I don't think we're that far,
Mm-mm.
but like that's another whole piece of this, right? We're using all these tools to help us make our lives easier, but this is a just different way of that.
I think soon it's going to be like, remember when we used to drive our own car? Like it's going to be stuff like that. We're there to where
Manual.
driving us.
Get a manual. It's like
Yeah.
you have to pay extra to get a manual now.
I know. My first like 5 cars were a stick shift.
Yep,
Like
same.
I'm so glad I know how to drive that because you can put me in anything. There's a zombie apocalypse, I can get out of here.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's so much. It's crazy. I don't know what to do. Well, I'm excited. We're going to have Monterey soon, and maybe we'll learn some new. Maybe Pace will drop some new fun things for us.
Oh, he for sure will.
He
There's
definitely will. Our
Yeah.
hair's gonna be blown back like this.
My
We're
hands
gonna be
gonna
like,
fall out.
what? Now I gotta rethink my whole business. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So
I've been seeing a trend lately with this VO3. I
Mhm.
follow a page called Evolving AI.
yes, me too.
It's a pretty good page. I have 2.8 million followers. And a lot of the stuff that they share, first of all, I find it freaking hilarious. But at the
Funny. I
same
was gonna
time,
say it's so funny.
but at the same time, it's really impressive because you'll think that like, oh, somebody just prompted that, right? Like you
Mhm.
just put a prompt and that's it. No. These prompts are really, really complex. And to I think you, April, you were saying this earlier. It's like you have to understand the wording of cinematography or like news informational like type of business, right? Sorry, streaming, or how to say the things in order for them to be prompted. So I just find it really interesting seeing all these different like videos that show up, especially because they look so real.
They
They're like
do.
people are saying, even they have been sharing my WhatsApp channels with my family. My aunts and my
Yeah.
grandma and stuff. And I'm like, hey, just so you know, this is not real. Like this
Yes,
is not a real video. So
Yeah.
it's getting to a point where like even when I see it on social media without reading any context, I'm like, wow, I don't even know what to say whether it is real or not. So it's getting to a point where like even I have a trained eye for it, and like I'm getting to a point where like, damn, we're gonna have trouble with this technology very soon in regards to that. The other side of the coin is like, have you guys seen those videos with like the last one that I saw is like if Moses had an iPhone,
Yes,
and it's literally
that's the
walking
ones
through.
that are so funny.
Yeah. They're walking like the other one was Napoleon times in Napoleon
Mhm.
Wars and things like that. I just find it like the creativity is intense, and I still think that like those who are creative and are able to figure this part out in their fields are going to be the ones that succeed for sure.
Yeah, well, they understand how to describe setting, mood, lighting, all of those things because I think those are the elements that make those videos so successful. But they're so funny because it's like Jesus saying, "The sea just got parted," and they'll describe like this journey. And they'll be like, "Man, I'm thirsty," or like it's just so funny. I am cracking up at those. And the monkey one, is it a monkey? Have you seen the one, or is it Sasquatch? One of them.
Sasquatch.
I'm like, they're so clever and hilarious. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Now imagine using that for like your business, right? Like for example, Tracy, maybe during Christmas, or during winter, you have a Yeti freaking go into the candy store, like that's your
Like
ad.
that's what I'm trying to like. I'm like, after all these years, and here's the thing, about content. It's like I have 18 years worth of pictures. Like I don't know when. I mean, I started my Facebook page like 100 years ago, right? And it's like I've got pictures from like the first years. I could just be reposting. Like I could just go back and start again and never have to pay anybody ever again to create something new. It's like there's so much. But you know what? Like I know we've done it already, so I'm thinking new. But really, and that's one of the things they were talking about on TikTok this week. It was like if you didn't get a lot of views, just delete it and repost it.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like I have one that's going viral. It's like 33,000 views or something. It was just about Zillow. It didn't even make sense. But I was like, okay, sure. But but then on that was on TikTok because I always start a TikTok and then it downloads and then I move it. But then on Instagram it did nothing. So it's just funny. Like on TikTok it's going crazy, but on this one, but again, TikTok is pushing to new people. Instagram is not. So it's just very interesting. But I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much. Like on my Facebook page. Like if they ever take away my Facebook page, I'm in trouble. Because just my whole history of like my stores. The whole thing is there. Like boom, 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 boom.
It makes sense to download that every once in a while so you have a backup.
Can I? I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah, make sure you get their emails. That's your backup because that's your rented audience there.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's where I do so this is why I do the clicks, right? Is that because they sign up for free to get the free coupon they usually do. Although I just switched it over to be a DM because I actually switched it from shipping in e-com to local. So they get a coupon and then they have to come in to get the free thing. It just pushes them in. And when they come, they spend more. So we're playing with that local piece. And but like I just decided that I wasn't going to push them to the opt-in anymore. Because you know what? What does it matter if they don't use it, right? But the time it takes between they see you and where they actually give you money is getting longer and longer and longer. So it doesn't hurt me for them to keep seeing me. It may take them 11 times for them to click and download and then come, but they'll know who I am and all that. And then when it's local and when they come in, but right now I have it, I just set this up yesterday, but like it opens, it's like the call to action is send message. It clicks it, brings it up, and then because I set up one for Instagram and one for Facebook, and then it says, you're getting free candy. Do you want it shipped or do you want it in store? And they choose which button, and then one will send them to the website to like get their free candy, or the other one will send them the coupon. But it's like I just started it yesterday. I was like, this is way easier, like less friction, right? They're not leaving per se. There's but again, like that's an adaptation, right? As opposed to like send them to the opt-in. Years ago, I would have free candy and I had like a 96% opt-in. Like it was crazy. It was like penny leads and like, that doesn't mean they all ordered, but it was like, again, that's how I built the list to like 150,000 because like people were opting in for the thing, and it had such a good one. But now the same exact thing, same exact style, just on high level instead of ClickFunnels, it's like a 56%, which is still not bad, but it's just people are less trustworthy and they're not as interested in giving you their email anymore. It takes longer, I think. It's just, but again, people are getting smarter. They are even for free candy, right? Like they're like, well, is it worth it to me? I don't know. Never mind, right? So they're just getting smarter, and it takes longer. This is what I was told the other day, and I think it's true. It takes longer to get your first sale, but it's faster to get your second sale. Do you find that to be true, Will?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's like any sales. It costs you more convincing because their attention is so split. So that's it usually takes you longer, but
Yeah.
that's why you have to be omnipresent, right, in all these different areas. And I think with the difference is that with AI you can do so much personalization that it will feel more natural to people to actually like come and spend money with you, because they will feel more like you're calling them out a little bit more, like you're naming them, talking about their situation. So that's what we're doing on our end. I got Google VO3 2 days ago, just because we were trying to like figure out how to like go how we're gonna actually use it for the AI.
Are you eating candy, Jamie? Well, I know somebody said this again. My other
Did you
master
send him candy, Tracy?
I did not. He's probably healthy, you know.
Don't send Jamie candy because he'll open it on the podcast.
So they said they said it's like 7, 11, and 4, right? Like you need like 11 hours, 7 or like 4 places. Like you need all these different layers of interaction before they'll give you money now, and it's just getting longer as opposed to, right? But they also talk about different places. So like you post something and you send them to like a Google Doc, so they've gone now to another place, or like you send them to your website, that's another place, or you send them to YouTube to watch a thing, that's another place. And so they said they used to do this is kind of creepy, but they used to say like a guy who was trying to pick up a girl in a bar, right? He would like meet her and be like, oh, let's go over here and talk, and then it's like, oh, let's go dance, or let's go outside and have a cigarette, or whatever. But like 4 places, the likelihood of being actually able to pick her up as opposed to just standing still, like that psychologically, that because now you've had 4 different experiences, which is really interesting. But I mean, when you think about that from branding or whatever, right? Are they finding me on TikTok and then I send them this idea of like, okay, well, if they click here and they hit my link tree and they want my free thing and they've gone to my website, and then I send them to YouTube to, I don't know, whatever, or like the idea of like you send them to all these different places, you're compressing the time.
That makes sense. I could see how that would work, because it's almost like, well, it is repeating their experience with you.
Yeah, you want to feel value, that they're getting a lot of value technically for free. It's just a psychological trigger for them to just feel like they owe you something, and then they want to check out whatever it is.
Right. Is that the reciprocation or something like that? There's a law, right. And so, but anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. And so for me, I feel like even if they click and they don't do anything, but they see it again and they see it again and they see it again, like eventually it's like, oh, I know that candy store, like, or whatever, right? It's not costing me a lot of money, like a half a penny. And I, as opposed to like Agora, where it's like $500 to acquire a customer, like I know they're making way more, but like the whole point is like, it's worth playing in that sandbox just to try to see. Like I just got 2 new leads on Lead Connector. It tells me like when they're clicking, which is fascinating. Like in the past, it's like real time. Is it working? Is it not working? So it's really cool. I don't know. Cool. Modern technology. It's all interwoven in everything. It's crazy.
I think those 2 leads were Jamie's 2 different emails to get more.
Jamie wants more candy.
Just kidding.
Someone's like, are you bringing candy to Monterey? I'm like, I don't think so. We got to put a coat in our bags if they're ready. Like
Oh, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that.
Birdie, I was on a call with Birdie and she was like, I got to try it on. I was like, okay. So
Yeah.
she said they're very cool.
Yeah. She's in our YouTube cohort. She got to tell us about it. I thought it was hers when I saw it. She's like, no, it's someone else's. So, Heather, you've got to say what's embroidered in yours.
The wizard.
Why are you putting me out?
You don't have to. She can keep it as a secret.
No, I thought really hard about it, and I was like, let me just go simple, and so I have a Grizz in mine.
I think that's.
I don't think I asked.
You know
I don't
what?
think I put anything.
I think so.
Yeah, you had to on the forum.
Really?
I
Did
put
I
April
maybe
AI.
do lady?
You
I
for sure
might.
put Candy Lady.
You should put
100%.
Candy Lady. I put April AI.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
You just did AI.
April
No,
2.0.
April.
What did you put, Will?
It's just my name.
Oh.
Just kept it simple.
My name was too long. It would have had to be like Heather Grizza. And I was like,
No,
This
mine
is
was
that
perfect.
sounds
Mine
like a
was
rap. What you say, Will?
no, mine. If I put my entire name, William Castillo, it wouldn't have fit. So
Yeah.
the fact that Will Castillo was the exact amount of letters, I was like, okay, that's a sign.
I wonder if I put my name. I wonder. I probably didn't read the directions. I was already distracted and doing 5 things. I probably just put my name. I don't
think,
need my name on my thing.
yeah, I think Heather Grizza. That sounds like a rapper name.
Mm. I have Rizza capital. Like I tried to like do a spin on my last name because nobody can pronounce my last name.
It's wizard, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It
that's it.
it is. The G is silent.
Mm-mm. Oh my goodness.
So Heather Grizza.
Mhm. Wooka wooka wooka.
Yeah, that's her Owners Club jacket name, Heather Grizza.
Uh-huh. There you go. I don't know. All right. Well, next Thursday I will be on a plane.
We'll figure it out.
We already figured it out. We have it
we
scheduled.
got it.
for
Oh, that's
Sunday.
right. Sorry. Okay, I
We'll
forgot.
be on our West Coast tour.
Woohoo! I
It's okay,
know.
guys. We're gonna be pre-recording the next show. No worries.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm delivering it to you on time.
So what's everyone going to be working on over the next week? Probably nothing because April and I are heading out on Tuesday. So
I'm doing my automation for Connector. I called it Connector OS because I'm cool like that. That came up with it. I didn't. And then I'm gonna do. I actually paid for an automation that I just have to set up, but that will create my content, and then we'll post it all in May. And I just paid for it because I was like, I could make myself crazy trying to figure it out, or I could just do exactly what they tell me to do in the video and make it work.
Yep.
That's what I did. I cheated, and that's okay.
It's okay.
That's
Done.
not cheating.
No. It's hashtag handled.
Well, let's see if I can do it, right? That's the trick. Can you actually do it if they lay it out for you step by step and you have to rewind and rewind and rewind? We'll see.
Mm-hmm. I've run
You'll
into
find.
trouble with some of those pre-built. And then I'm just like, oh, I would do it different anyway. So
Yeah, you'll be fine, Tracy.
yeah, you'll be fine.
It's make. I'm not sure. I don't think like, you know, you have to think a certain way, like in a flow. Like you have to think step by step of like, oh, make it do this, make it do this, make it. And I don't really think that way. So it's always like really like, what are they asking me? I don't understand.
That's Heather's superpower.
Well, good. I'm glad it's somebody's because it's not mine.
Well, I'm just saying she's a whiteboard wizard too. So maybe she'll teach us all how to whiteboard.
Ooh.
Give a little whiteboard your AI stuff.
We need to get her a vibe board so she's whiteboards. We can all get it.
dude, I'm gonna hook up a tablet or something because I feel like it's so necessary in some of these calls.
It is.
Mhm.
It is.
Yes.
For sure. So I'm working on the middle part of one of Heather and I's builds. She's doing the front and the back, and then I'm doing a 4-part middle. My job is just to get the 4-part middle done on this thing.
Nice.
I mean, I'm getting it done. Getting it done.
It's good when you have a deadline. It kind of compresses, like
Yeah, sometimes.
I like a
One
deadline.
way to look at it, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything new going on this week or not. I'm building a lot of old stuff, trying to get workflows and funnels and all that kind of stuff arranged and fixed from some of the Go High level updates and get a lot of that launched. I got a course I got to launch this week and like 6 accounts. So
Mm.
I'm busy. Playing catch up.
Sounds like Jimmy, sounds like
High
Jimmy has
volume.
has a nice laundry list to do this weekend. For
Yeah.
next week, I am I need to hire 3 more people, and I also need to make sure that before Monterey, I leave my team with enough instructions for the week that I'm going to be out. So in terms of like making sure they're handling the clients properly, that they're not going to need me, and if they're going to need me, that it has to be like a 911 situation. That's the only way that I will answer. If not, they can figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm making sure that all of our calls go into precisely our database so they can actually use the gems that I've created for them.
Love it. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, we will see you at the same time next week, but it will be pre-recorded.
Yes. The same fun stuff.
Sounds like a good plan.
Same time, same bat channel.
That's
Woo!
Okay, awesome. Bye.
Bye.
See